Hello, sportsmen. Hey, welcome to the show. We have a big audience here crammed into Hilltop Ford at Howell. Of course, we all know that practical sportsmen don't just hunt and fish. We drive trucks, right? Yeah, we drive trucks. We also hunt deer. We're going to show you some footage of hunting from a tree stand, hunting from the ground. We're going to get into some controversies. That's what the fun of it is all about. So you stay tuned. You're watching The Practical Sportsman.
Fred Trost Practical Sportsman is brought to you by Anderson Archery in Grand Ledge, a complete archery center offering a wide selection of bows and archery accessories, serving bow hunters worldwide since 1952. And by D.L. Kessler & Sons Construction, specializing in residential development and commercial construction since 1977.
Opening morning of bow season this year was not a typical hunting situation for John Ford and I. Instead of being in the same blind, John was in a tree stand with his bow where he used a home camcorder. Now, I was in a wooden blind shaped like a pagoda with a roof, taping with our professional Betacam. Now, sometimes we were both rolling tape at the same time. We were interested to see the pros and cons of tree stands versus ground blinds. Look at that little fawn kick the other fawn off the bait pile. Hey, they're not very nice to each other when it comes to food. That fawn chases another fawn away, then a fourth fawn comes in to be a tough guy. Well, when it's all said and done, the two that had the original problem start all over again. Now, that unlucky fawn will only be able to eat when the others are done. That may not be fair, but fair has nothing to do with life in the food chain. But the point of our setup is to find out how the wind and the visibility and the comfort levels vary from tree stand to ground blind, and to see how the deer respond to having two hunters on opposite sides of a bait pile. Now, this is not the way to hunt deer for a variety of reasons. One of which is you'd think the deer would smell one of us because we have the bait pile surrounded. Well, this adult doe didn't want to come into the bait, and her behavior spooked the fawns away. But the tape showed one thing, that John's scent stayed higher in the air, mine was contained in the nearly airtight ground blind, so I gave thumbs up on the videotape we got of those little deer. Well, you can really see the difference in quality between the professional Betacam right here and the home camcorder that John was using, but the size difference and the price difference don't make a professional camera all that practical in a tree. Now, here's something funny. I mean, to me, anyway. John turned around for a different view. While his back was turned, a little fawn walked beside my blind and was on the bait pile for, about a minute before John turned around and saw it. Now, here's a tape of me while I'm taping through the window of the deer hunting shack. I could get better close-ups of the deer from the ground, see their winter coats coming in. The buttons on this little buck stood out when it put its ears back. This is a 6-month-old buck fawn that will have antlers where those bumps are next year. Now watch it twitch. It jumps here because something is startling it. Something's coming through the cattails. And from its reaction, we can tell it's going to be another deer. A deer on the bait pile will always let you know when another deer is coming. They telegraph the anticipation. Now, people who don't deer hunt might wonder why we don't shoot these deer. Well, these are fawns, young of the year, too small. But we enjoy having fawns around for our camera work. John is trying something with a camcorder, looking through his new aim point sight. Now it has a dot in the sight. This is what he'd see and how he'd hold it if he was going to shoot. But he doesn't. Well, guys, what do you think? Right there in the situation, we got the deer out front. Were we hunting? John was in the tree, and I was in the ground blind with covered over. Now, was I just, like in a playhouse?
No, you were hunting.
Yeah, but I happen to know that you don't like to hunt with the roof over your head.
I don't mind the roof. I think it takes away from your vision.
Well, it does that. It does
Okay,
that.
That's why I don't like it.
Okay, it takes away from your vision. Now,
Except deer don't fly. So, I mean,
so
I don't see, where it's going to hurt your vision even if your roof is made out of pine branches or corn stalks or whatever.
But you hunt from the ground in a regular
Yeah, because a
shack.
guy my size, I mean, you're not going to get up in a tree very often.
Okay, now this young buck here, hunts from a tree, but you have a condo
Yes. Yep.
with the roof over it?
Yep. Storm windows, the whole 9 yards.
Holy cow. Now, don't your buddies give you some ribbon and say that's not hunting?
No, they like to go in there when it's real cold, too.
Okay, so it does have a practical value. Okay, when it's cold and when it's windy up in a tree? Okay, well, let's go back and pick up our opening day story halfway through. At lunchtime, the wind picked up. Well, in fact, it howled. This is normally not a good time to hunt deer. They're a bit nervous in the wind. John had gone back to the camp for lunch and to get some fresh batteries. While he was gone, one buck fawn came in and was in front of me for, I don't know, half hour. I had a great time watching it. John came back and we resumed our positions. Now once, while another fawn was on the bait, John drew his bow back and moved around in the tree stand to see how much he could get away with. We found that young fawns, the 6-month-old deer, came right into the bait, and they weren't very observant while they were eating. The older deer, the bucks or does, were far more cautious. Now, the fact of the matter is that bait piles attract younger deer, but just before dark, an adult doe did come in. A half hour before shooting hours ended, it was really quite dark, and from John's right, a doe pussy-footed her way to the bait pile. Now, we had decided to take a doe on opening day, if we could, for the venison. I was trying to draw my bow right here, but the deer apparently caught sight of me through the window. She had her eye on me every second. Right here, she looks like she was eating. Oh no, her eyes were fixed on me. She couldn't figure out if I was a predator or not. Well, with the home camcorder on a bracket on a limb, the real predator was behind her 11 yards away in the tree. Perfect shot. The deer ran, but not far. Hey, dude. Did you get it?
How about that?
You get it?
Yeah, I'm sure I hit her. I think I heard her go down about
Oh, there's the arrow.
75 yards.
I can't see in this viewfinder. You got
Yep,
blood?
we definitely have blood. Yep, all
Okay.
it's passed clean through her.
Well, I think we better chase her right now because she's probably down or what?
Yeah, I think I heard her go down. Sorry, I should have waited for you.
For what?
For you to shoot.
Oh, I couldn't even get a draw on her. Well, 1 minute later, we found the deer, which is now called venison. Here we go, right down here. I don't even know if this is showing up now. It's dark. Well, that's a decent-sized doe. You made a good shot. High on the back. Well, she didn't go, what?
Oh, we're,
75 yards?
yeah,
maybe
probably
100?
75, 80 yards.
Well, congratulations. We're supposed to do all this stuff.
We needed some venison for our
Yeah, what do
venison
you say?
meatballs.
Venison meatballs is only one of many recipes that John Ford will prepare with this deer. It's not a trophy, but it's meat, and for most hunters, this is a typical successful hunt. Meat for the table. Okay, folks, I've been doing outdoor shows for close to 15 years now on public TV. Never have we taken a doe. Never, because we've always felt like we got to do bucks. Did we do wrong?
No.
We did okay?
No.
What about, has anybody here felt that we did wrong here, that I shouldn't show taking a doe on TV? I've actually already pre-screened the audience. I can't get anybody to say this. Is there anybody that thinks that the Nugent guy, huh? Should I have taken a big buck, or should John?
I probably would have shot one of them little ones.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, that's, we're looking at it as practical sportsmen and meat, going out to get meat for the table. What about you guys with the roofs over your heads?
I'd have taken the doe because
Huh? Oh, you're a buck hunter, aren't you? You are, aren't you? Yeah. Aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So you wouldn't have taken the doe. Do you think worse of us?
I wouldn't have taken the doe the first day.
Okay. Oh, that's because you get a lot of days off.
No, but
See, maybe everybody doesn't get all those days off.
there's other days.
There's other days. Okay. Well, there we do. What about you folks down here? Is it okay that we got a doe? We got some meat?
I've waited for a buck for 8 years, and I'm going to get a doe when I see one.
Okay. Well, I guess that's okay. This is a practical show. That's why we call it the Practical Sportsman. Now, well, we're not going to build a blind here in our project, but Matt Radzilowski was busy in the workshop last weekend. Last weekend, Matt Radzalowski got his power tools going on several of our Outdoors Chamber of Commerce projects. One of them is this big map of Michigan we have here at the entryway to the museum. Our idea here is to get patches from a lot of different clubs and organizations, sportsmen's clubs, and put them on the map where the clubs are located, kind of a sportsman's pride thing. And along the same lines, we want to display hats from sportsmen's clubs. So Matt decided to put a board up here at a 45-degree angle with some screws on the other end so we can display hats from all the different sportsmen's clubs who have sent them to us. The display of hats and patches are for fun, but to really learn about the clubs and organizations in Michigan, check out this library we're starting. These are the different newsletters of organizations. Well, we've Ducks Unlimited, the Michigan Bear Hunters, Safari Club, Boone and Crockett, the Steelheaders, Commemorative Bucks, Putting People First, Trout Unlimited. We're trying to collect a massive library here for sportsmen who want to come in and see what the other clubs and organizations are doing. And all this has been an outgrowth of our Sportsman's Yellow Pages. So you've looked over this rough draft of the Yellow Pages. What do you think?
That's a very good idea. It's what you got here so far is really would help anybody looking for anything. It's
okay,
nothing like this out. You got to go through about. You'd have to go through about 25 different Yellow Pages over the state to find just what you got right here.
Oh, well, that's what I wanted you to say. That's really good. No, that's true, and that'll be coming out very soon. Now, we do have in our trophy book, by the way, all the trophy data from around the state. What county for $5 produced most of the big bucks, trophy bucks with a bow last year?
Washington.
Hillsdale.
Jackson.
Sorry, guys. Thank you for endorsing the Yellow Pages, but this guy got the $5, Jackson County, and we're going to start it off with a story in Trophy Tales. Gary Van from Jackson, you got yourself a 10-point buck with a 17-1/4-inch spread hunting from a tree stand in Jackson County on the 15th of October. Man, Jackson County, usually the racks are like big, thick, heavy ones.
This is.
Oh, yeah, it is. You're right. It is. I mean, it's I don't mean to, demean this buck at all.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to demean this buck at all.
I could tell.
It's a smaller of the Jackson County style.
Not really.
Not really? Oh, you're right. You're damn right.
Get me up here to pick on me.
See, you people get to see all the things that don't go on the air. So, Gary Van from Jackson, you got yourself a big honking Jackson County buck.
10
right?
point, that's right. Yeah.
A 10-point buck with your 60-pound bow on the 15th of October. What's the story?
Well, the story is I didn't have a place to hunt when the first of the season because I usually hunt with my brother-in-law, and I told him I had a place, and it turned out I didn't. So my buddy that I bow with, it was the 15th of October, and he said, well, you can come hunt with me. He said, but there's a 10-point out there, and he said, don't shoot it. I said, okay. When it came,
you always say that. You always say that.
When it came through the woods, it came sideways, and it looked just like an 8-point to me. I said, I can shoot this. I shot it. I would have shot it even if I would have known it was the 10-point.
Guess what? I got some bad news for you.
Yeah, it was the 10-point.
Yeah.
I know it was.
No, the bad news is you don't have a place to hunt next year either.
No, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Where's that?
The same place.
He's going to let you?
He was only mad for about a month or so.
Here's one of those heavy beam Jackson County bucks. Dan Corbin from Lansing got this 9-pointer with a 22-inch spread on November 13th. On October 30th, Dan Lukasik from Michigan Center got this 12-pointer with a 23.5-inch spread. Now, how good is Jackson County for trophy bucks? Let's take a look at this year's Practical Sportsman Trophy Book. Page 88 has a map which shows the density of trophy bucks per county with a bow. Jackson led the state last year with 13. Livingston County was second with 11. Now, if you add shotgun hunting to the bow tallies, Jackson County was still on top of the heap. 35 trophy bucks came from Jackson. Like this 7-point, 20.5-inch spread, 10.5-inch tine. Mike Parent from Parma was the lucky hunter, getting it on November 25th. On November 30th, Alan Jensen from Jackson got this 9-point with a 20.5-inch spread, 10.25-inch tine. And on November 28th, Andy McAllister from Jackson took this 11-point with a 20.75-inch spread, 9 7/8-inch tine. Hey, Jackson County, last year's top producer of big bucks. Charlie Keenan is cutting into some venison meatballs, which you just made fresh out of the crock pot.
Fresh out of the crock pot.
Do you think everybody likes meatballs?
Yeah, everybody likes meatballs,
Everybody
don't they?
does? I don't know. We're going to find out. Do we have some meatball lovers or people who also, if you don't like meatballs, we're going to go down through the crowd and hand them out here, Charlie. And we'll get somebody to hand them out while you tell us what's in this meatball recipe.
Fred, we're fixing up some venison meatballs. Of course, the first thing you have to start out with is the ground venison. We're going to put in the ingredients, the bacon, the flour, the garlic powder, some eggs, and some crackers. A little tip here, moisten the crackers before you put them in. It makes it easier to work in the dish, and I think it makes it stick together better, too. Get in there with your fingers and just mix this up. It makes it taste better, and it's a lot more fun to do it that way. After you get it all mixed up, we're going to form it into balls. A suggestion here, too, moisten your hands. Make sure they're wet and that venison won't stick to your hands. Put it in a frying pan, pour on the liquid, let it simmer until the liquid is all evaporated. There it is, venison meatballs.
Look at these people standing here with their empty plates, but I happen to know I handpicked this group because they slammed these meatballs. In fact, you said you didn't like them at all.
No, they're bland, and there's no taste, and they taste like a cotton ball.
Oh, well, there's a high compliment. What about you?
They could use some more spice to them, but put some noodles with them and a little bit more spice, and you got a great dish.
Otherwise?
Bland.
Oh, bland.
I agree with him. Very bland, real mild, and not venison enough tasting for me.
Ma'am?
Fresh onions, fresh mushrooms, and some cayenne pepper.
And that would have saved them?
Absolutely.
Charlie Keenan.
I do feel bad, but you guys just give me the recipe and I fix them up. Next time I'm going to bring a dish of extra spices.
Hey, there we go. That's a good idea.
Hey.
Well, now that we got one hot subject done, let's go to our another one, which is Sportsman and the Law.
Okay, I've got a question. We were out shooting today. First of all, we went to the shooting range over in Dansville. They were shooting rifles, and we want to shoot trap. So we went over to some other public land, We went out to a deserted field, essentially. And we are in a safe area. We're 450 feet, more than 450 feet from any building out there. And we started shooting clay pigeons. And after shooting for about 15-20 minutes, this representative from the DNR comes on out and says that we can't shoot there. Number one, we weren't wearing hunter orange, said that we needed a small game license to go out there. And he says, you don't know what's over the corner there, over the hill. I said, well, if you go ahead and flush a bird, you don't know what's over there anyways. Okay, so that point's moot. And my big question is, can you shoot clay pigeons out on state property if you do it in a safe, legal manner, 450 feet away from a building? I mean, this has got great legal implications if you cannot do this. I mean, essentially, if you cannot hunt on state land or shoot on state land, I mean, they just narrowed your shooting abilities right on down to nothing. I mean, to whatever they deem is appropriate. That's the question. Can you ask Sal that for me?
Okay, you're an opinionated practical sportsman, and you say?
That you shouldn't be able to shoot targets or target practice on state land.
And why not?
Well, what if you're out there bow hunting in your camo in your tree and some guy comes out there and starts blasting through the woods? He don't know what's out there.
So the bow hunter takes precedence over the shotgun shooter?
Not if he's hunting, but if he's just target practicing, then he's interfering.
Okay, what do you say?
Well, the state law says that you can hunt out there, but I think the state should make it so we have a place or make some special regulations so we have a place to go. Otherwise, we don't have a place to practice. I don't have private property to shoot and don't belong to a club.
So you say you can't shoot?
You can't, right? As the law is now, you can't.
And you say that even if you can, you shouldn't?
You shouldn't.
Okay, now let's go to our practical lawyer, Sal Ghani, because he researched this issue.
Fred, you can shoot clay pigeons on state property if you do it in a legal and safe manner. Now, in order to make it legal, you first must be 450 feet away from another building. Second, you must have a small game license. Third, you must wear hunter orange. Regarding the small game license, if you're out there shooting between August 15th and April 30th, the law requires you have a small games license. Hunter orange is required if you're out there. Now, it's presumed that if you're not en route to a designated target area, then you're hunting. That's why you have to wear the hunter orange. Is it safe? Yes. By wearing the hunter orange, you're out there with a weapon shooting, someone else can see you, it's more safe. So it is legal to hunt on state property if you do it in a safe and legal manner. Again, make sure you're within 450 feet, you've got the small game license, and you're wearing hunter orange.
So now you heard what the lawyer said. Anybody with a license and with hunter orange can go out and throw clay pigeons in the fall like right now, even if there's bow hunters out there trying to be real quiet and not spook the deer. Now, you folks I know are hunters. What do you think? It should be that way?
No, it shouldn't be that way.
Hunters should...
Because what if it's an anti-hunter out there just shooting so I wouldn't bow hunt?
Oh, so now you're comparing shotgun shooters to anti-hunters?
Well, they could do it, couldn't they?
Well, yeah, but look at where this is going. My golly, we have a big conflict here between people who want to throw clay pigeons on state land that they paid taxes for, and you're saying you don't care if they paid taxes, the bow hunters win.
Oh, I'm not just saying the bow hunters. I'm just saying it's not the place to be just shooting up targets and dumping, you know, all the litter and all that stuff that you get from broken targets and the shells. And
So, tell me this. Who wins out over hiking or bird watching or target shooting?
well, it shouldn't make a difference. I mean, you shouldn't.
Then why did the hunters make a difference?
Because the hunters paid to have the license and all that stuff
Okay.
to be there.
Okay. Well, what are we going to do for people who want to shoot?
We're going to find a place where a sportsman can shoot without interfering with my fellow sportsmen.
That, I
Hunter,
think, is
hunter.
going to be a little
Yeah.
project for our Chamber of Commerce to talk about how we can promote all these things at one time.
A designated target area.
Okay. We'll come up with a solution to that. Now you want to lighten it up a little bit? You know what we're like talking about law? We're like bucks in the fall. Oh, let me tell you, it's not a pretty sight. Here we have 5 bucks in close proximity, the end of August. Do you think wild animals always get along peacefully? Well, just watch. That skirmish broke up the party on that particular evening. The fracas started with a windmill of blows by what was obviously the dominant buck. That's how they usually fight, with their feet, which are sharp and dangerous. But it isn't just speed. Check out the power behind these punches. The contender is the same size as the champ and is eager to exchange blows, but he catches a left cross, at least that's how it appears, and thumps to the ground. Oh, that had to hurt. But the champ took his share of shots. He shook his head to clear out the cobwebs as the contender, who suffered the knockdown, hightailed it to more pleasant surroundings. So, no excuses. Get outdoors. It's a great place to be. Some good weather. You'll have fun. We'll see you back here next week. Well, we've had quite a spirited time this evening, eh? We've eaten cotton balls. We've argued about shooting does or big bucks. I mean, all kinds of things. Talk about this Chamber of Commerce idea and things we're talking about. We even have another controversy. Come on up here, guys. Here, Brant and Matt. Look what we have. Ferrets. Boy, I bet there's love-hate relationships in this audience over that, eh? No, these are, you folks can come up. We're taking these around. They're just legalized after 67 years. These are domestic ferrets. They are kind of cute. So you guys can just go and move in the crowd and see if you can scare people with them. Yeah, tell you what, we'll talk about, well, the shows we have coming up, a lot of exciting live audience shows. I want to thank the people here at Hilltop Ford in Howell. That's been great. There they are back there, ready to write up deals on trucks, Sportsman's trucks. We love being here, and of course, I love talking with you folks and having your good, honest, practical sportsman opinions. So you all get by the TV Thursday night and look for yourselves, because you're going to be on. Hey, thanks an awful lot. We'll see you next week.